What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So with Mario Day coming up here pretty soon, we were expecting Nintendo to announce some sort of new Nintendo Switch system bundle, as well as have several games go on sale. Well, it looks like we're getting both of those, although the bundle, a bit iffy. We'll go over that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Xbox. Now, it seems things are coming to an end when it comes to the Activision Blizzard deal, as a key decision appears to be made by the EU. And we'll also be going over Yuji Naka's situation when it comes to insider trading, as it seems that based on some new information, it's a pretty open and shut case. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And we're gonna start today with Wolong Fallen Dynasty. It is out today, and it's also released into Game Pass, but we did get the Metacritic score yesterday, as well as several reviews going live, which we can see this post up, currently sitting at an 81. That's on the PS5 at 52 critic reviews. I believe the Xbox version slightly lower, although it's jumping around between 80 and 81, so it might be about the same. But the PS5 version had the most critic reviews. If we go over to the split, 43 positive, 9 mixed. At the top, Attack of the Fanboy with a 100, saying the best way to describe how Wolong feels is if you combine the visuals and swordplay of the Dynasty Warriors and Neo games with a pinch of Sekiro. On the other end of the scale, though, we have VGC, more of a sidestep than an evolution from Neo 2. Wolong is an inventive and an adventure worth taking, even if it's technically suspect on PS5, but won't live massively long in the memory once you've slain your final boss. So I'm gonna check this one out later on today in Game Pass. I've already played it, like the demo and all this, and I have enjoyed it. I think the morale system is at least interesting, and I want to see how that plays out throughout the entire game, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a bit more on the podcast tomorrow. Also, we did get a release date for Booster Core's Pass Wave 4 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's coming out March 9th, and we still have 2 more waves after this one. But we can take a look at the lineup of tracks, and yes, one new character that is being added in, but we'll start here. They had the trailer that played alongside of all the information that released. We have Amsterdam Drift, that's from Mario Kart Tour, Riverside Park from the Game Boy Advance, DK Summit from the Wii, Yoshi's Island, that being the original new track here, which is a nice surprise. It, of course, being themed around Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Then we have Bangkok Rush, that's from Mario Kart Tour, Mario Circuit from the DS, Waluigi Stadium from the GameCube, and Singapore Speedway, once again from Tour, with now Birdo, a new character into the game, joining, which is kind of cool to see Birdo dropped in here from Mario Kart Double Dash. But the fact that they will add new characters as well as brand new tracks, nice surprise. But 2 more waves left. I assume 3 or 4 months from now, we'll get that 5th wave, and then probably the 6th wave to close out 2023. And then I assume that's gonna do it for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but who knows at this point with Nintendo. Oh, and we did have a bit of excitement when it comes to SEGA and some of their old intellectual properties that have basically been dormant for a little while now. After last year, we had that report from Bloomberg around SEGA potentially rebooting and reintroducing titles like Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio, and now we have another survey that's popped up here that was shared online, and you can take a look at some of the titles here. Yeah, you can see we have Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Shinobi, Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Altered Beast, House of the Dead, Virtua Fighter. Now, this is a survey, and they're just trying to gauge interest. Okay, what have you heard of? What have you not heard of, or any of that? So while Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio are in here, it's still a lot of hope, obviously, that this is a thing, and it would be really cool to see Jet Set Radio make a return specifically. Crazy Taxi as well, but I feel like there's a lot that Sega could do with that Jet Set Radio intellectual property now, especially with current technology and development tools and all these different things. So here's hoping they do have plans to revive some of these older intellectual properties, because I think there's a lot of potential there. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Mario Day. That's March 10th. So next week, Nintendo will have some promotions running, and they'll have a new system bundle that they have introduced, as well as several games themed obviously around the Mario intellectual property that will go on sale. Let's start with that system bundle though, which originally leaked out, and then Nintendo basically just sent press releases out and said, all right, here's the bundle, which we can see posted up over on their website. And it is the Nintendo Switch Mario Choose One bundle. Pretty straightforward, as right on the front of the box is just choose one. It's just basically a blue box with the Switch, and then just the the games there that are running as promotion. Although on the other side, it is a big like blow up picture of Mario. So I guess there's that for the theme around the box itself. But yeah, you see the Switch there. It is not the OLED model. I think that's very important to note, by the way. This is basically the red box Switch that they have essentially repurposed with the promotion of you buy the system. You get to either pick Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, New Super Mario Bros. U, or Mario Odyssey as your free title. So the entire bundle coming in at $300, and they have also packaged in like that deep red Joy-Con set, which they do look pretty nice in person. Kind of what they released previously, I believe, with that Mario bundle they did on a Mario Day. So, I mean, in that case, yeah, at least they are following suit here with the theme. It just kind of seems like something they're pushing out there to go along with the movie because, well, guess what? It comes with a sticker sheet set for the Super Mario movie. So going above and beyond there. I still believe if you're going to get a Switch for the first time, you may as well move up to the OLED. I know that it comes with a game like a Mario Odyssey or a Mario Kart, which Mario Kart specifically seems to be the game that everyone just gravitates towards after they buy a Switch, but I do believe, one, the $50 difference is worth it, even if that means you pay a bit more for just the system and kind of leave one of the games behind. Although, we had just talked about how games would be on sale. Well, all three of the titles that would be coming with this Switch are also marked down, which we can see the list of games here. We have Mario Odyssey, Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Mario Maker 2, Mario Party Superstars, we have Luigi's Mansion 3, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Yoshi's Crafted World, and just a picture of Bowser, which I assume is just for symmetrical purposes. But Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, that's a pretty good title there. All of these coming in at $40, so I'd recommend either Mario Odyssey, Bowser's Fury, Mario Party Superstars. That's a really fun multiplayer game. And then also Luigi's Mansion 3, because I think Luigi's Mansion 3, especially if you get that OLED Switch or have it now, is certainly a showcase for what the system is able to do when it comes to animations, visuals, the whole thing. But overall, nothing too crazy here when it comes to the promotions or anything. I mean, some of those games are from like the launch year of the Switch and they're marked down $20 to $39.99, and then even the bundle itself, while it's still at $300, it's the red box Switch, and I do believe a lot of people are mostly looking towards the OLED model if they want to pick a Switch up, especially if they're looking towards something like Tears of the Kingdom or maybe even Metroid Prime 4, which we're still waiting to see. But there you go. Those are the Mario Day sales that Nintendo will be running next week. Next up, let's talk about Microsoft, Activision Blizzard, and how all of this could be finally coming to an end. It feels like it's been forever, and well, kind of has since we celebrated the 1-year anniversary of the announcement to acquire Activision Blizzard just a few weeks ago. But take a look at this. This is from Reuters. Exclusive: Microsoft set to win EU nod on Activision with licensing offer. Sources say it's expected to secure EU antitrust approval for its $69 billion acquisition. With its offer of licensing deals to rivals, 3 people familiar with the matter said, helping it to clear a major hurdle. That, I assume, the rivals kind of being the deal they offered up to Nintendo, but certainly the deal that they offered up to Nvidia as kind of the cloud gaming or computing side, that market was kind of at like the center of this, along with Call of Duty, and showing that they are willing to play ball with Nvidia, that being Microsoft, seems to have kind of turned the European Commission to be more in favor of Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. And then also they had that slide that showed 80% PlayStation and 20% Microsoft, so that might help a little bit too. Now, Reuters also says that Microsoft may also have to offer other behavioral remedies to allay concerns of other parties than Sony. One of the people said such remedies typically refer to the future conduct of the merged company. So there's probably still some other things, maybe smaller things in the background that Microsoft will have to work to iron out here, just to appease regulators and how they are going to essentially navigate the waters after they acquire Activision Blizzard when it comes to some of those intellectual properties. They've made it very clear that Call of Duty is going to stay put where it is, which, I mean, that being on PlayStation, obviously, but also being pushed out to other systems like the Switch. And I think a lot of us are very curious to see how that one will turn out, but nonetheless, them getting the approval from the EU and the FTC kind of lining up their own their own decision. I think that would have some sort of sway on the FTC, as more and more information has been coming out from Reuters that it appears the FTC isn't even thinking about, oh, maybe Microsoft will have to spin off Call of Duty to make this happen. So kind of feels like maybe the FTC is starting to lean in a similar direction as we're seeing with the EU. And as pointed out here by Reuters, the European Commission is scheduled to decide on the deal by April 25th. So I'm thinking if they say, you know what, we're good to go here, the deal is approved, I think then the FTC will kind of follow along fairly quickly, well, as quickly as we see these kind of proceedings take, right, with the regulators and laws and all these different things. But it does feel like things are finally falling into place for Microsoft, which means we'll finally be able to stop talking about this deal. And I also wonder when it comes to Sony with some of those documents that are being requested, if they're also kind of backing off a bit in the background now. But it's going to be kind of interesting running up to April 25th as we look towards the FTC next to see if they're prepared to do their own approval. Next up, let's talk about the Famitsu sales charts. These, of course, track the sales week to week in Japan. And we had some pretty big releases last week. And I've also been kind of curious to see if that trend with the PS5 topping the hardware side would continue. But let's head over here to the top 10, starting with Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, 189,031, which, by the way, I believe that's about 50,000 more than when the original released on the Wii. So that's great for Kirby there, with continuing to roll along after Kirby Forgotten Land. Then we have Octopath Traveler 2 on the Switch, 53,995. Not a great opening week for Octopath Traveler 2, which we're going to talk about a bit more here as we get on the charts. And we have Like a Dragon on the PS4 and the PS5 in that order, 35,897, then 31,439. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet there at 5. Hogwarts Legacy hanging on there at 6. Splatoon 3 at 7. Then we have Octopath Traveler 2 on the PlayStation 5, 14,422. So combined, it's about, 68,000 or so copies physically that's sold, which is trailing well behind the just over 100,000 copies that the first one sold on the Switch alone when it released. So we can think, okay, maybe digital is taking more of a foothold here, even in Japan, to kind of make up that difference. But just from the numbers, not great here for the sequel. Then we have Ark Survival Evolved randomly showing up in the top 10 there with its debut at 13,200, and then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe rounding out the top 10. Moving over to the hardware, the PlayStation 5 continuing to top the charts here. I think it's the 5th week in a row, by the way, 91,729. It's also looking to overtake the Switch year to date for 2023. Probably in the next couple of weeks if this trend continues. Then we have the Switch below that, 61,384. The PlayStation 4, 1,646. The Xbox Series struggling a bit here. Remember that price increase is now in effect, 727. Then the 3DS continues to roll along here. They keep finding them in the back, 72. So while we did see good news here for Kirby as that series continues to climb now, some disappointment here with Octopath Traveler 2, and people are trying to figure out what exactly happened here. Could have been marketing just overall from Square not being great. But remember, when it comes to Team Asano titles, Square isn't exactly going out there thinking they're going to get 5 million copies sold of a title or something like that, right? So their expectations for Team Asano seem to at least be in check, but even then I thought it would have been able to at least outsell the first Octopath Traveler when, they have PlayStation and Nintendo that they're selling to here, but there we go. Unfortunately for Octopath Traveler 2, not the greatest opening, but we'll see how it continues in the weeks to come. And then the PS5 continuing to roll along with stock, really showing up here, and the Switch, I guess Nintendo really has gotten to a point where it's probably just sold everyone in Japan a Switch, and now it's kind of selling extras to families and those sorts of things. But again, we'll see when we get to some of their bigger titles, like The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Yuji Naka, of course, former boss of Sonic Team, and went on to most recently make Balan Wonderworld. So you win some, you lose some. Well, it seems like right now he is definitely losing one, and that being in the courtroom around the insider trading situation that he's gotten into here. And we learned a lot about this last year as things continue to progress, and he was indicted, and now it appears that he's just outright admitting that, yeah, he knowingly did this. We can see posted up here over on Eurogamer saying former Sonic boss Yuji Naka admits insider trading. It is, by the way, worth nearly $1 million in terms of what was traded. So it's not like a small amount. And it was mentioned that they actually banked quite a bit of money because of knowledge that a title, that being Dragon Quest, a mobile game, was being announced with a certain studio and company. Them having the knowledge of that happening basically placed a quote-unquote wager ahead of time, and it seemed to pay off, but they were caught. And Yuji Naka did say in the courtroom, there is no doubt that I knew the facts about the game before it was made public and bought the stock. So it seems pretty open and shut then if Yuji Naka is in the courtroom just admitting to insider trading. I assume this is some sort of plea deal, or just to say, hey, yeah, pleading guilty for a lesser sentence just to expedite the process, or I don't know, maybe he has information he can share. Again, there's a lot of stuff, I'm sure, behind the scenes going on here. And now it's shifted to talks of, okay, what exactly is the sentence going to be? As people have mentioned, jail time and other things. I'm not too sure myself what exactly comes of this, because it's not like a little bit of money overall. He had a couple of different trades that happened. One was like $20,000 and the other one was nearly $1 million. So there is real money getting thrown around here, and that can obviously kind of build up the overall consequences that you end up with. So I'm going to wait and see what exactly happens here, but there you have it. Yuji Naka, yes, admitted to insider trading, and now kind of waiting to see what the sentence is going to be. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're going to take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, Wolong Fallen Dynasty reviews are in. Are you picking it up? 5% say, yes, I'm buying it ASAP, but then 21% say, yeah, I'm getting it on Game Pass. Okay, that's not too bad. And then 23% said maybe later when it goes on sale. And half the people said, no, I'm not interested. And I do see some people say, hey, you know what, the Souls games, they're just too hard for me. But I have seen people who have played it with reviews saying it's actually easier than Nioh, or definitely Sekiro, and many of the Souls games. So I don't think it's going to be necessarily, I guess, as easy. I don't know. Elden Ring isn't exactly an easy game, but I think the fact that's open world, you just walk around and can level up and do all kinds of things if you run into trouble, makes that a bit more approachable. But it does sound like Wolong is more approachable than some of those other games that maybe are intimidating to people here. Or who knows, maybe it's just not your kind of game, but I am very interested in Wolong Fallen Dynasty to see how it turns out. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Brittany saying, the only thing I can't understand is why would Nintendo not delay Tears of the Kingdom to make it a launch title if a Switch 2 is that near? Okay, so what we're looking at here with the next system from Nintendo, one, we all assume, and I'm gonna say assume because it's Nintendo, you never know, that it will be backwards compatible. If it's not, in the weird, wacky, alternate universe that Nintendo may end up in with our luck, then they'll sell the game twice. They'll sell it on the Switch, and they'll sell it on the next Switch 2, or whatever they end up calling it, right? That's possible. The other thing is they can sell it to this large install base now for a game that's clearly an expensive title to make. It's been in development for, feels like forever now. I mean, the entire generation. And they also moved it up to $70. Probably because it cost a lot and they're trying to recoup a lot of that money. And yes, this is Nintendo, a business. They want to make a profit. But if that's the case, they can then probably have a nice big boom of sales if they have a patch ready to go to take advantage of, again, what we assume to be more powerful hardware, something that can maybe target 4K. And with that art style, 4K, higher frame rate, there is, I'm sure, people who'd be a bit more enticed to pick that up to check out what their new system can do in this big, grand adventure in Tears of the Kingdom. At least that's kind of what I think is going on with Nintendo overall. But again, who knows? Nintendo's weird. Hopefully we'll know more by the end of this year. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here. Today was Nintendo's sales for Mario Day. How do you feel about the new bundle or the different games that they have marked down? And then also, what about Microsoft? Seemingly set to get the approval in the EU. Does this mean that they're basically on the path to have it approved everywhere? Thanks, guys, for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time for Newswave.